There's a lot of talk this week about Nigel Farage being an ambassador for the UK. Loads of people talking about, like, getting themselves G'd up. Well, you know, Trump is back and, you know, it would make sense for the UK, you guys over in Britain, to have a conduit, a friend of his who he likes and likes him. And then you get people over in Britain as well going like, yeah, it's nice. I mean, they're friends. Why not play your cards that you've been dealt, you know? Play your strengths. Why not make him the embassy ambassador guy, Mr. Starmer, so that Britain can get the best possible deal? You know, if indeed the protectionist American first mentality of that celebrity rapist is open to just gifting us a trade deal, of course. You know, but if he were, then it would make sense, wouldn't it? To use Nigel, use his skill set, his toolkit, his incredible skill set. Of course, Aid, he should be ambassador. It makes perfect sense. So first off, Nigel Farage is not a diplomat. Okay? Nigel Farage he's not. Nigel Farage is not a diplomat. To be an ambassador, you would kind of want them to have experience in negotiations, okay? I mean, it's at least what I would have thought. To have experience in dealing with people, with other countries, listening to their problems, you know, finding a way through, finding a way to foster better relations with them, building bridges, build a better relationship with the other right? That's what I would imagine an ambassador should have in their skill set. You know, and previous occupants of this role, of the UK's ambassador in the United States, previous occupants have been Dame Karen Pierce. But before the job, she was a UN ambassador. So, you know, she had that there. That came part of the package, right? Good at negotiation. She is a diplomat. Okay, move on. Sir Kim Darroch was our ambassador to the US, based over in the US. Prior to that role, he had been our representative at the European Union. So again, experience in being an ambassador, a diplomat, probably a good negotiator. Chris Mayer was ambassador to Germany before he became John Major's ambassador to the United States. So these people are fucking diplomats, okay? They're well-versed. They've got the experience. Do you hear me? Do you hear what I'm saying? They're diplomats. Diplomacy. They're advocates of being diplomatic about things, about trade, legalities, differences of opinion, treaties, diplomatic. Now, Nigel Farage, conversely, has no such experience. He doesn't have any experience like that. In fact, rather than negotiation, rather than said diplomacy, his experience in dealing with other nations tops out at what? It tops out at calling the French Navy essentially people traffickers, burning bridges with Germany, telling Turkey to fuck off, telling his own MEPs, do you remember all that stuff in Brussels? Telling them to turn their backs on their own European Parliament. That is his skill set. That's how he diplomacies. He is not a suitable candidate. But maybe you think, you know, as some people did this week, maybe you think, well, you know what? He's a patriot, Aid. He's a patriot, and that is all that matters. Well, no. No, it does not. Because although, you know, yes, ambassadors are typically there to, you know, to pursue and protect the interests of their home state, your boy Farage has shown time and again that he has no issue whatsoever with damaging his own country if it furthers his own interests right? He's got no issue with refusing to condemn Vladimir Putin, with supporting Trump over his own domestic government, with doing a show on the Russian state's propaganda channel, with pursuing Brexit despite the havoc that it's wreaking. In fact, do you know what? Like a microcosm of that same dynamic can be observed by way of his election as the Member of Parliament for Clacton. Couldn't it? Because, you know, forget the embassy job, right, for a minute. He already has a job, doesn't he? He already has a place that he's supposed to pursue and protect the interests of. Right? That's literally his fucking job. But you never see him in Clacton, do you? He never holds a surgery there. He's always off in the States. So if the charge is that he would make a good ambassador because he would look out for the interests of Britain, right? Like, he won't even look out for the interests of the shitty seaside town that he's elected to represent at the parliamentary level. Like, he can't even be bothered with this little thing over here, and you want to promote him to looking after the whole country. Are you fucking mad? He'd literally be in the place that he runs away to now as his escape. He would be there, escaped. I mean, that would be like, I'll tell you what that'd be like. That'd be like plucking a man out of his unhappy marriage, right? And then inserting him into a little cheap hotel with his mistress, right? And then while he's having a whale of a time, and he's really enjoying himself with his mistress. He's going for the third time this morning. So he is. And you're just, you know, peeking your eye in through the window, just keeping it. You're like, I just don't feel like he's really working hard on his marriage in there. I just don't feel like it. He doesn't look very focused to me. Everyone else is like, I mean, he's fairly focused what he's doing. That is what you would achieve, guys, if you took Farage out of Britain, out from Clacton, tore him away from Clacton kicking and screaming, and posted him to the US. He would just lose all attachment to Britain. I promise you. I mean, I think he'd lose his accent in like 3 weeks. I feel like that's how superficial and actually not serious his patriotism is. That's how deep it runs. I think he'd lose his British accent in like 3 fucking weeks. If you want to read on like how superficial, how thin, how shallow I think Nigel Farage's patriotism is, I think he's the sort of person who would go into a cinema and watch a Hollywood movie and come out 2.5 hours later with an American accent. I think that's where he is. He's so in love with the idea of him in America, surrounded by Americans. He'd come out of that cinema 4B, 2.5 hours, watching a theatrical presentation. He'd come out with a fucking American accent. And then there I would be at the food and beverage kiosk with a fresh milkshake ready to dunk that motherfucker.
Just another morning here with Adrian.